On November 26, 1930, a news story was published on the front page of the Medon Daily Journal newspaper in Canada. It was impossible to ignore the bold title, Village of the Dead. This report sent shockwaves across the country because an entire tribe in northern Canada had mysteriously disappeared overnight without leaving a trace. Welcome back to the Unfiltered Factverse. Today, we take you to the remote region of northern Canada, near Angikuni Lake, where a small settlement of the Inuit tribe once lived. The village had around 100 to 200 people who survived by fishing in the lake. This is a region where only a few thousand people live across millions of square kilometers due to the extreme climate. Apart from fishing, hunting was common in the area and many hunters frequently visited. It was a freezing cold day in November 1930 when a hunter named Joe Labelle arrived in the area. He was so engrossed in hunting that he didn't realize when night fell. Having stayed in the Inuit village before, he decided to spend the night there again, as the villagers were known for their hospitality. Under the moonlit sky, everything seemed eerily silent. No voices, no movement, only the sound of his own footsteps. Something felt off. Usually the village dogs could be heard barking, but there was only complete stillness. As Joe Labelle approached, he saw smoke rising from the chimneys, showing that fires were still burning inside the houses. This gave him hope that the villagers were present, but as he stepped into the village, he was shocked. There was no one there, neither humans nor animals. Strangely, some houses still had food on the stoves, but it had burned to ashes, as if someone had left it mid-cooking and never returned. Sewing materials, with thread still in the needles, were left untouched. Further, proving that the villagers had vanished suddenly, Joe noticed another chilling detail. The village dogs were found dead, still tied to their leashes, even though food was present nearby. It seemed they had starved to death. Near one of the huts, he discovered a freshly dug grave, but no one was around to explain its presence. A deep sense of fear gripped him, and without wasting any time, he rushed to the nearest telegraph office and contacted the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP. When the police arrived, they found that everything Joe had described was true. They suspected a possible attack, but there were no signs of struggle, no bloodstains, and no scattered belongings. If it had been an attack, at least some evidence of violence would have been found. A search operation was immediately launched. But the most bizarre discovery was yet to come. There were no footprints in the snow. The entire village was covered in a thick layer of snow, but apart from Joe Labelle's footprints, there were no signs that anyone had walked away from the village. The lake was frozen solid, and the villagers' boats were still parked on land, ruling out the possibility that they had left via water. Investigations revealed that the villagers had been missing for at least a few days before Joe arrived. The dogs' deaths from starvation suggested they had been abandoned much earlier. However, the smoke rising from chimneys indicated that the village had not been empty for too long. Despite months of investigation, the police found no clues. Eventually, the case was closed as unsolved. Over time, people forgot about the incident. Years later, in 1984, two writers, Roger Bohr and Nigel Blundell, published an article linking the case to aliens. They reported that a local hunter and his sons had seen strange flying objects over Angikuni Lake, moving towards the vanished village. Based on this, they suggested that aliens might have abducted the villagers. However, their claims lacked solid evidence, and most people dismissed the alien theory. Over time, many different stories emerged, but no one has ever been able to explain what really happened to the Inuit tribe of Angikuni Lake. Almost 100 years later, this mystery remains unsolved. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share and comment on this video. See you in the next thrilling episode.